Hey guys, hi, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the third video of this series, live SQL series. So let's wait for around 30-40 seconds, a minute, so that whoever wants to join can join us. And then we can begin. I think I'll just keep it like this. Otherwise, I'll just, picture my own self over here. Great. So, yeah, let me open up the MySQL workbench. There we go. I think it's visible. I'll just keep on checking for the comments in between, guys. I think I'll have to look into this. And yeah, I think it's time that we start moving in. All right. So let me start sharing the screen. I'll just share my screen. This is the screen right now, and I can see that this is the stuff that we have done yesterday. Till yesterday, this is what we have done. Okay. So just a minute, please. Just give me a minute. Just a small adjustment, guys. Just give me a minute, please. All right, fellas. So let's start the session now. Let's go ahead and start the session. Okay, great. So I'll just have kept this on the screen. Cool. So I think till yesterday, what we have seen is we have seen how to create databases. I think we've seen DDL and DML commands. I'll do, as usual, I'll do my annotation on the screen over here. Right. So, oops, I think it was screen, this one. Right. So I'll just use this one. Yeah. And let me put it up. So I think till yesterday, what we have seen is we have seen DDL commands. We've seen DML commands. DDL command means how do we create or alter a table or columns in the table. In DML commands, we have basically seen how do we insert value over here. Insert values over here. And of course, when it comes to this, there is something called as update as well. We'll move on to that later, updating values. And then we have something called as deleting. But we'll move on to these kind of DML commands soon, later on. Okay. But as of now, what we have done is we are starting with the update and the deleting command over here. That is, this is what we have seen till now, DML and DDL. All right. Okay. Great. So today, what we're going to do is today we're going to move on to the next portion over here, which is where clause. And I think we'll move on to in where clause we'll move on to relational operators, and other conditional operators over here, right? So how to basically we're looking at how to filter the data. We're looking at how to filter the data. We have seen how to make the we have seen how to make the how to make a database and the tables inside the database we've seen, how to create alter tables we've seen, how to insert values in the tables we've seen, how to give constraints to all the table columns we've seen that as well. Now अब हम आएंगे किस चीज के ऊपर, हम आएंगे where clause के ऊपर, filtering of the data. Filtering of the data simply means that कुछ स्पेसिफिक टाइप का डेटा ही मैं देखना चाहता हूं. आई वांट टू सी ओनली अ स्पेसिफिक टाइप ऑफ डेटा ओवर हियर. ओके, सो for that I think it's time for us to move on to some different kind of databases and different kind of cases over here. So I think I'm going to use one of the databases called as world over here. Okay, I'll use something called as world database consists of three tables, which is city, country and language. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll import this. I have the CSV versions of these databases. I've already done this. Okay, so I'll just show it once, right? How can we basically create a database using CSV? So what I'll do is I'll first import this into my my own local system. Let me import this, and I think I should increase the size of the screen as well, right? Because otherwise the codes will look very small. Okay, that's display. Right, so let me increase the display size. I'll improve the display size to, let's say, 150. I think that is good enough. I think we can see all the codes properly over here, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to use this particular database called as world, inside which are tables called as city, country and country language. Okay, so ये तीनों को use करने वाला हूं मैं. Let me start with this. Now let me right click over here, go to table data import wizard. Let me go for this. Now if I import this, okay, if I import this, I can browse the file, browse the path or browse the location where I want to import this. Let me right now import this on my desktop only. I think I don't want to create unnecessary confusion over here. So let me import it in the desktop, and I'll name the file as city. Okay, wait, have I'm so sorry, my bad, I'm not importing, I'm exporting. I'm so sorry for this. I'll go for export wizard. I need to export this data. I think I clicked on import data, so I'll export the data, and I'm exporting this particular table called as world.city, which consists of these 5 columns over here. I'll just click on next. Okay, now I need to browse the path where I want to keep these files. So I'll just go to this, and desktop is my path, and I'll go for save, and I'll say that give me a name. I'll say that city is the name over here. I'll just save this. Now you can save it either in the CSV format or in the JSON format. Let's prefer CSV format over here. CSV format में जाकर हम क्या करते हैं, local machine में इसको export कर लेते हैं. Next करता हूँ, and if I next, the data gets exported in my local machine. एक CSV बन के डेटा मेरे लोकल मशीन पे आ जाएगा. और यहाँ पर देखिए 4079 अच्छा खासा बड़ा रिकॉर्ड है. 4079 records are already being imported over here, or rather I should say exported over here, imported into my local system. Now if I just click on right click on country, and I'll go for export again, I'll do the same thing for country. I'll click on doing. I think here what we need to do is to be a bit careful over here. It takes the name of the previous file only. I think we just download city file over here. If I just click on next a bit carelessly, I must add, then I'll replace the city CSV with this new city CSV, which actually should be country. Okay, so I'll go for country, right, country.csv, and then I'll go for next. I'll go for next, right, and then I'll go for next over here. So 239 records are being imported over here. Fair enough. So this is also done. And finally, I'll export this. Why am I saying import again? Let me export this. This is country. This is country. Language. I'll go for country language over here. Okay. And I can see that this is CSV. I'll just go for next. Everything is absolutely fine. I'll go for next. I'll go for next. 984 records are being done. Finish. Okay. So we can see in my desktop, these 3 files would have been there. So this is city, country, and country language are the 3 files that we have. Now what I'll do is, as you guys don't know how to, some of you might not know how to import the files into it. How do we do that? I'll just create a database over here, which is, I'll go for something like create database world data. I'll go for world data. Okay, create database world data. So this will create another database called as world data. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm showing you guys how to import data from CSV in case you have missed it in the previous session. अगर आपने previous session में miss कर दिया है तो मैं CSV से database कैसे create करते हैं SQL में ये बता रहा हूं आपको अभी. Okay, now all right. I think yes. Sorry for that. Apologies. Cool. Right. So I'll go for create database world data. Now अब इस डेटा अब जब मैं एक बार रिफ्रेश करूंगा तो ये एक और डेटाबेस मेरा वर्ल्ड डेटा नाम से क्रिएट हो जाता है यहाँ पर. और इस डेटाबेस में व्हाट आई विल डू इज अब टेबल्स ऐड करने मुझे. नाउ मैंने जो डेटा डाउनलोड करा है अब वो डेटा मैं इस डेटाबेस में डाल दूंगा सो दैट यू गाइस कैन सी हाउ कैन वी डू दैट. और टेबल्स में क्लिक करता हूं, राइट क्लिक करता हूं और यहां पर आता हूं टेबल डेटा इंपोर्ट विजार्ड पे. इफ आई डू दिस I'll browse, I'll go for the location of the file. This is my file city.csv, right? ये हो गया. उसके बाद मैंने क्या करता हूं, नेक्स्ट पे क्लिक करता हूं. Are we using an existing table? No, I'm creating a new table over here world data में and the table name is city. मैंने कहा ठीक है, सब कुछ ठीक है यहाँ पर. I'll go for next, next and next. This is where I can import the data over here. Now city being the toughest, or I should say the heaviest data, it might take a bit of time. Okay, it might take a bit of time. Okay, so let's wait patiently over here. इतना time भी नहीं लगना चाहिए, but ठीक है. I hope it is done soon. Yeah, done. Once I click on next, it'll say that 4079 records are imported. इसको मैं refresh करता हूं तो inside table I can see there would be a table called as city now. Similarly, I'll very quickly import the other two files as well. Table data import wizard. I'll go for browse. I'll say that country. Right. I'll go for country. This is the file. I'll say that yes, this is the file. I'll just go up. I'll just go for next, next. Wait. Back. I'm creating a new table. Correct. And country. All right. Then we go for this. We go for this. We go for this. And this being a smaller data should happen quickly, which it did. And 239 records are imported. Now I can refresh this and I can see that apart from city, there is a country table over here as well. Okay. So right click, table data import a wizard. I'll go for browse, country language, right? I'll just keep it up so that you guys can see it. I'll go for next, country language, next. I'll go for next again, and the small data gets imported quickly, right? 984 records are there. Now, once I refresh it, I can see all the three tables over here. So effectively, what I've done is I've created a duplicate of this database over here. First, I exported files from the table over here, and then I created another database to show you guys how to create database and add CSV files to it. वो करने के बाद मैंने इस database में CSV file बना दी है. Now, अब आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू वुड हैव क्रिएटेड वर्ल्ड डेटा ओवर हियर. मैं एक काम करता हूँ, वर्ल्ड वाला जो मेरा ये आई रियली डू नॉट वांट टू टच इट, बट लेट्स गो फॉर वर्ल्ड डेटा ही रख लेता हूँ इसको. मैंने आई थिंक आई कीप बोथ द डेटाबेसेस. आई डू नॉट वांट टू डिलीट एनी वन ऑफ देम. ओके, सो लेट मी गो फॉर दिस थिंग. और ऑन सेकंड थॉट्स perhaps we can I can delete the world data over here. Let me drop the schema. I'll drop the schema. The schema will be gone. At least there's only one schema over here, which is world data. Okay, now I'll start using this. Now I'll say that select star. First of all, we can all do one thing. We can go for describe, and we can go for describe world data. Describe world data. Now once I go for describe world data, okay, I need to first tell SQL that which database am I using. So I'm using use world data. This is the database I'm using. Now SQL knows that which database are you using. It says describe it. Oops, sorry. I think I cannot describe the schema over here. I can describe the tables over here. So I'll say describe city. So it's going to give me the description of the city. That is, what are the fields present in it? What are the type of data? What are the data types which are entered over here, right? And accordingly, apart from this, is there a null key increment over here? And various other fields over here. Where basically I'm able to see the fields over here. This is one way मैं अपना टेबल देख सकता हूं. दिस इज वन वे आई कैन सी माई टेबल. अनदर वे ऑफ सीइंग द टेबल इज, टेबल का एक और देखने का तरीका ये है कि मैं सीधे सीधे सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम सिटी करता हूं, टेबल ही आ जाएगा मेरा. I'll get my table over here. So I'll get the entire table, and not only I can now see all the columns, but I can see some sample values over here as well, right? Name, country code, district और population, sample values भी दिख गई मुझे. उसी हिसाब से बाकी दोनों टेबल भी देख लेता हूं मैं. I'll just go for country, right? This is the country table over here. Can you just see? This is the entire country table. It's quite an extensive table because we can see code, country name, continent, region, surface area, in-depth year. What is in-depth year? In-depth year seems to be independence year, the year of independence of that particular country. What is the population? What is the life expectancy? What is GNP? GNP old. Plenty of things are there to be done. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, and then finally I'll go for select star from country language. Okay, I'll go for country language. This is where the country language is. So there's a country code, there's a language. Is it official or not? What percentage of the people are speaking this language is what we can see it over here, isn't it? This is what we're able to see. Right now, let me go for it and let me start working on this particular data. Okay. अब देखिए यहां पर हम क्या करने वाले हैं. हम लोग एक चीज हम लोग कर रहे थे. हम लोग यहां पर वी आर स्टडिंग समथिंग कॉल्ड एज फिल्टरिंग ऑफ डेटा. फिल्टरिंग ऑफ डेटा. फिल्टरिंग ऑफ डेटा का मतलब है वी आर इस पूरे डेटाबेस में से कुछ सेलेक्टिव चीजें मैं ही देखना चाहता हूं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं ये कोड रन करूं, ये वाला कौन सा, सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम सिटी, सिर्फ इसी को सेलेक्ट करके ये थंडरबोल्ट का बटन दबा दिया, तो आई विल सी दैट दिस इज, वो क्वेरी रन हो जाएगी और मुझे मेरा पूरा का पूरा टेबल यहां मिल जाएगा. अच्छा, बाय द वे, आई थिंक हम लोगों ने अभी तक ये डिस्कस नहीं करा है how to select a few column. I have always been running select star from city, select star from country. पर मान लीजिए आपको कुछ चुनिंदा कॉलम ही देखने हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यहां पर मुझे कंट्री का नाम, कौन से कंटिनेंट में है, कौन से रीजन में है, सरफेस एरिया और पॉपुलेशन, यही चीजें देखनी है. तो मैं क्या करता हूं, सिंपल बात है, आई गो फॉर सेलेक्ट. अब इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग फॉर स्टार, स्टार का मतलब होता है ऑल कॉलम्स, गिव मी द एंटायर डेटा फ्रॉम कंट्री लैंग्वेज. Here I'm going to go for the specific name of the column, that is country underscore name, right, comma continent, comma region, comma surface area, comma population. So whatever columns I want, जो जो कॉलम मुझे चाहिए वो कॉलम के नाम मैंने यहां पर दे दिए. आई थिंक कैप्स और उसकी हमें चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वी कैन से दैट आई थिंक SQL इज नॉट केस सेंसिटिव ओवर हियर अनलाइक पाइथन. ओके, सो ये क्या करा, स्टार बोलने की जगह मैंने उन कॉलम्स के स्पेसिफिक नाम दे दिए जो मुझे चाहिए. अब मुझे बताना पड़ेगा कहां से. सो आई गो फॉर फ्रॉम कंट्री. कोड खत्म हो गया, मैंने now I can see that this is the only one that I'm looking at right now. Probably country name का C capital कर सकता था, मैं कर देता हूं इसको. I'll go for this, right? So country name, continent, region, surface area और population are the 5 things. पूरे के पूरे 10-12 कॉलम जितने भी थे उसमें से ये 5 कॉलम ही मुझे देखने थे. So मैंने इन्हीं 5 कॉलम को सेलेक्ट करा. It becomes very easy for it. Okay, but you're getting all the data right now. Can you just see? 239 rows are selected. So in country, there were 239 rows over here, right? So we can 239 rows are selected. अब यहां से या फिर आप इसी के साथ चलते रहिए, इसी को आप लेते रहिए, या फिर you can say that let me go back to select star from country. मैं पूरे डेटा पे आ जाता हूं और देखता हूं आगे. This is my entire data. ऊपर वाला डेटा, इनमें से एक 5 कॉलम्स हैं. नीचे वाला data is all the columns of that particular same table, country. Okay. Right. So now what I need to do is I need to filter out some specific data. For example, मान लीजिए मुझे किसी, अब कंट्रीज तो अलग अलग हैं सारी यहाँ पर, सो कंटिनेंट और रीजन मुझे स्पेसिफिकली देखना है. फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से मुझे देखना है वेयर क्लॉज में. अब मैं वेयर क्लॉज का यूज करूंगा. वेयर क्लॉज का यूज कहां होता है? टू फिल्टर दी डेटा. अब इस डेटा में मुझे वो डेटा चाहिए जो कंटिनेंट, एक पर्टिकुलर कंटिनेंट के हिसाब से. फॉर एग्जांपल से कंटिनेंट इज नॉर्थ अमेरिका. ओके, सो आई गो फॉर select star from country. राइट, इतना ही कोड रन करूंगा तो फिर से पूरा डेटा आ जाएगा. बट आई विल कंटिन्यू द कोड एंड आई विल से वेयर मींस जहां पर, वेयर continent is equal to, you'll have to give the specific continent name over here. Let's say Asia. I'll go for specific continent Asia. So where continent is equal to Asia, क्या कर रहा है? आपका फिल्टर डाल रहा है. अब जो डेटा रिफ्लेक्ट होगा वो डेटा सिर्फ उन्हीं कंट्रीज का होगा जो एशियन कंट्रीज है, दैट इज एशियन कंटिनेंट में है. Once I run this, as you can see, only 51 records out of 239 records are being reflected because यही 51 records 239 records में हैं जो एशियन सबकंटिनेंट के हैं. Similarly, if I want to go for, is there any other North America? Let's say North America. If I go for this, these are all North Americans over here. North America का पूरा region आएगा. 37 countries are there which belong to North America. All right, cool. Then इस तरह से वेयर क्लॉज को यूज करके हम इक्वल टू मींस एग्जैक्टली वही वैल्यू के बराबर करना है अपने को. कंटिनेंट शुड बी इक्वल टू एग्जैक्टली दिस वैल्यू. एक आधी एग्जांपल और ले लेता हूं मैं यहां पर. आई कैन take up an example of, apologies for that, I can take up an example of the region is equal to, let's say region क्या डाल सकता हूं मैं यहां पर? कैरेबियन ही डाल देता हूं. कैरेबियन अगर मैंने रीजन डाल दिया, इन दैट केस सिर्फ कैरेबियन रीजन की डिटेल्स आएंगे. दैट इज 24 कंट्रीज ऑफ कैरेबियन रीजन. वी कैन सी इट ओवर हियर एंड ऑल द डिटेल्स ऑफ कोर्स ऑफ दोस रीजंस. स्टार की जगह पर अगर मैं सिर्फ कंट्री डालता हूं यहां पर, फॉर एग्जांपल गिव मी ओनली द नेम ऑफ कंट्री व्हिच बिलोंग्स टू कैरेबियन. ओके, सो आई विल से दैट ओके आई विल ओनली गो फॉर कंट्री अंडरस्कोर नेम. अब मैंने सिर्फ एक ही कॉलम सेलेक्ट करा है, कंट्री नेम, व्हिच मींस दैट इट्स गोइंग टू गिव मी ओनली वन कॉलम ऑल दोस कंट्रीज व्हिच बिलोंग टू द रीजन कैरेबियन ओवर हियर. कैरेबियन रीजन से बिलोंग करते हैं. आई विल गेट ऑल दोस कंट्रीज ओवर हियर. इफ नीड टू चेक यू कैन पुट इन रीजन. अब कैरेबियन नेम, कंट्री नेम के अलावा मैं रीजन भी पुट कर रहा हूं यहां पर. सो यू कैन सी all of them belongs to Caribbean region. This is how I can filter the data using where clause. अब यहां पर अगर आप देखेंगे तो हम लोगों ने कैटेगरिकल डेटा को चूज करा है. दैट इज कंटिनेंट हो गया, रीजन हो गया, है ना. सो कंटिनेंट कैन नॉट बी ग्रेटर देन और लेस देन समथिंग. इट हैज टू बी इक्वल टू अ सर्टेन टेक्स्ट. सिमिलरली रीजन हैज टू बी इक्वल टू अ सर्टेन टेक्स्ट. आप किसी से बड़ा या छोटा नहीं कर सकते. बट mathematical operators can now be used basically to select the country. For example, let's say I want to look at all the countries. I want to look at all the countries in which the life expectancy is slightly better. Life expectancy is, let's say, greater than 60. Right? I'll say that life expectancy is greater than 60. Then I'll go for where exact same column, life expectancy is greater than 60. Whoa. I'll say 60. Right? Now life expectancy is greater than 60. Let me enter this. Now we are looking at all the countries where the life expectancy is greater than 60. I'm basically doing one thing, that I'm looking at all the countries over here where the life expectancy is greater than 60. Even 60 will not be counted. Anything which is just above 60 will be counted over here. But agar मैं यहाँ greater than equal to कर दूं, I'll use another one. Example, if I go for select start from country where life expectancy is greater than or equal to 60, in that case, if there is a country with exactly life expectancy as 60, will be done over here, right? 60 or life expectancy 60 या 60 के ऊपर है, right? So this is how I use where clause over here. We've seen a few examples. I'll just put it on the screen, guys. Right? So that if you want to run a code, any code parallelly with me, you can run it. Right? Till then, I'll just take care of the background, guys. Okay, just give me a minute. Yeah. All right. Here we go. So in case you're going parallelly along with me, you can just write these codes. Of course, it goes without saying that in case you have any doubt, feel free to put it in the chat box. I'll come back to the chat box in between, right? After some time. I think I'll keep on visiting the chat box once in a while. But feel free, if you have any doubts, guys, feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay. Now, all right, guys. So let's come back over here. So all the relational operators. What are my relational operators? My relational operators, or I should say arithmetic operators or mathematical operators, are greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, okay, equal to will come, oops, equal to will come after this, okay, and finally equal to will be used basically to compare quantities over here. Now here, if I'm looking for a categorical data, for example, region. Now obviously if I run this code by saying that, let's say, I want the region to be greater than Caribbean, will it run? Think about it. If I say region is greater than Caribbean, now if I run this code, will this code run? Is the question. Is this code going to run? Is this going to throw an error? If at all it's going to run, then what is it that it's going to give? This code will also run. ये code भी run करेगा. क्यों run करेगा? Well, SQL is designed like that. It says country name region, where region is greater than Caribbean. This is very interesting over here. Region is greater than Caribbean. What do you mean by region is greater than Caribbean? Region is greater than Caribbean means in the alphabetical order, all the regions which are coming after Caribbean, I am getting the countries which belong to those regions. मतलब सारे region filter out हो गए हैं, filter in हो गए हैं data में, जहां पर the region is greater than the Caribbean. So Caribbean starts from C. So D onwards तो सारे के सारे region आ गए. CA के बाद वाले भी सारे के सारे region आ जाएंगे. As you can see, Southern Central, look at it, Central Africa, CE comes after CA. So dictionary में CE will come after CA. So what happens over here is Central Africa जो है वो Caribbean के बाद आता है dictionary में. So that is why region greater than Caribbean is including Central America. We can go for Southern Europe. You can see, you can check all the regions which are greater than this. But let's say if I go for region which is less than Caribbean, less than Caribbean will be again the vice versa. If I run this, I'm looking at only those regions which are alphabetically or dictionary wise coming before Caribbean. We can see Antarctica, Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica, Baltic countries. Only these regions are the ones which are coming in our data, which are coming before Caribbean. I hope this is clear. Guys, I'll request you guys, if you have any doubts, put it in the chat box. Okay. Doubt agar aapko kuch bhi aata hai, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay. Right. I'll keep on visiting the chat box in between every 4 to 5 minutes. Right, guys. So this is how relational operators can be used. This is how, or I should not say relational operators. I think relational operators have a different name. I wish to move on to relational operators, but I think let me call it arithmetic. I mean, spelling kabhi achhi nahi thi, guys. Okay, so if I make any spell error, please pardon me. Right. So arithmetic operators जो है आपकी greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. अब जाहिर सी बात है, ये तो हमें इसकी फिक्र नहीं है दैट अगर मैं ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू कैरिबियन लिख दूंगा, यहां पर greater than equal to Caribbean लिख दूंगा, तो Caribbean will also get included in the data. You can see there is Caribbean over here as well. Sorry, less than equal to करा ना यहाँ पर, तो Caribbean भी include हो गया अंटार्कटिका और ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड के साथ साथ. Right? That's the point over here. This is how arithmetic operators or mathematical operators can even be used in text. Okay? So इसको थोड़ा सा मैं यहाँ पर क्या करता हूँ, I'll go for this as arithmetic or filtering data, and I'll say that I've used arithmetic operators over here. Na? Arithmetic operator, right? And arithmetic operator operation in, well, abhi to nahi bol sakte, in text and numeric data. Now text और numeric दोनों data पे rext लिख दिया मैंने. I think it should be text. टेक्स्ट और न्यूमेरिक डेटा दोनों में क्या हो रहा है, मैं अर्थमेटिक ऑपरेटर्स को अप्लाई करके मैं डेटा को फिल्टर आउट कर सकता हूं. राइट, सो आई कैन सी एनी काइंड ऑफ डेटा ओवर हियर. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ आई गो फॉर सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम कंट्री, तो ये तो पूरा ही डेटा दिख रहा है मुझे कंट्री का. दिस इज ऑल डेटा ऑफ कंट्री. अब आप चाहो तो कुछ भी कर लो. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ समबडी वांट्स टू अंडरस्टैंड, या can we get only those countries who got their independence in 20th century? Fine. In that case, where I'll have to go for where in-depth year is greater than 1900. In-depth year is greater than 1900. So these are all the independence years which are greater than 1900, which means that all the countries who got their independence in the 20th century. Or I can say that let's go for those countries who got their independence before the beginning of 20th century. So before 1900, I'll go for 19. In fact, 1900 will be included in the previous century. So this century actually begins from 1901. So I'll say that in 1901 के, या फिर let's go for 1900 less than or equal to 1900. Okay. So in case there is a country which who got independence exactly on or in 1900th year will be reflected over here. Now I'm having a list of all the countries where independence year is less than 1900. But I saw something over here, right? Let me go for simple this thing. Country name, मैं कॉलम में क्या डाल देता हूं, कंट्री नेम और उनका इन डेप्थ ईयर. फिलहाल यही देखते हैं, राइट? फिलहाल यही देखते हैं, इन डेप्थ ईयर. Let's look at all the countries. So I'm looking at countries and their in-depth year, but I got something that some of the in-depth years are zero, which obviously doesn't make sense to me. दो तीन चीजें मुझे अभी यहाँ पर एक समझ में आई. एक तो ये that if I just use this, or if I go for greater than or equal to, right, we can see that these are all the countries which are greater than or equal to. जब मैं स्टार यूज कर रहा था, मुझे पूरा का पूरा डेटा मिल रहा था. I was getting all the columns over here. Okay. Now this is the entire data of all the countries who got their independence after 1900. But once I saw the independence year, Somebody suggests, sir, can we sort this out as well? Can we just do one thing, that can we ensure that of all these countries who got their independence in the 19th or 20th century, can I sort them out, like who got the independence first and then who has got the latest independence over here? I said, yes, that can be done. Right. So now we are moving towards something called as sorting the data. We are talking about sorting the data. Sorting as in arranging the data in a particular order. है ना? तो ये इंडेप ईयर वाले केस में आ जाते हैं, इसी को ले लेते हैं. Right. Let me not take the condition right now. Let me just take the overall simple case over here of all data. Select star from country. Once I'm done with this, I'll come back to the specific condition wala case over here. Select star from country. Now, if I select star from country, the entire data of country table is coming. What I'll do is, instead of closing the query over here, I'll say that let's come down or probably stay over there. Okay. I'll say order by. Order by means it's going to sort out. Order by, let's say I want to order by population. So I'll go for population. I'll go by order by population. Okay. So I'll go for order by population. So यहां पर क्या हो गया है, एंटायर पॉपुलेशन, पूरा का पूरा क्या है, पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से ऑर्डर हो गया है. बट यू कैन सी there are certain cases in which population is actually zero, which is very very surprising for me. But later on I learned that these are अंटार्कटिका रीजन. अंटार्कटिका में कौन रहता होगा यार? रहता भी होगा तो वहां कोई जनगणना करने के लिए वहां कोई जा नहीं रहा है. Right. So the point is, अंटार्कटिका में कोई population नहीं, तो zero population. Similarly is the case with Eastern Africa. But the moment I start moving on towards better regions, I think I start getting numbers over here. Okay. So here, by default, what I've done over here is, by default, ascending order पे हमने population के through पूरे data को क्या कर दिया है, arrange कर दिया है. But somebody says that, sir, probably I think it's better to look at the highest population country first and then followed by second highest population country second and then so on. I said, okay. Then what we need to do is to go for DESC, descending. If I write descending, the ordering will be in the reverse order. That is, I'll get population in something like this. Population something like this. In the descending order, we can see that the population is so huge. I think कितना आ रहा है भाई? This is 1,000, this is million, this is billion. So 1.2 billion population China का ही है भाई, and 1.01 billion population India का ही है. Right. So select start from country, order by population. So I have order by population, and the ordering is descending. The order is descending. Yeah. I'm taking the MySQL class, Arjun. MySQL class मैं लेता तो हूँ, of course मैं लेता हूँ, and I'm looking at, I'm actually doing MySQL class over here, isn't it? So yes, I do take it. All right, guys. So let's move on and आगे बढ़ते हैं. So select start from country, order by population, descending. This is the case over here. है ना? All right. अगर मैंने descending नहीं दिया, तो by default SQL इसको ascending assume करेगा. By default it will give me ascending. By default ascending हो जाता है. So if I had to ensure बड़े से छोटा वाला order करना है, that is, I want greatest first, followed by second greatest, and so on. It has to be in the decreasing order. Then in that case, I'll just go for descending over here. Okay. So order by population, descending. अब आते हैं इस चीज के ऊपर. ये वाला कोड था ना, इसी ये बात कर रहे थे हम. इसको लेता हूं. I'll take this code जो हमने where clause को यूज करा था ना, जहां पर independence year is greater than 9 और equal to, तो नहीं लेता हूं, greater than 1900. So ये वो सारे कंट्रीज है जो 1900 के बाद जिनको क्या मिला है, इंडिपेंडेंस मिला है. Alright. Now if somebody says that, can we arrange this? I said that, ठीक है भाई, filter तो हो गया. Using this where condition, the highlighted one on the screen, I've filtered the data. Now, once I've filtered the data, I can still order the data, and I'll go for order by, order by. I'll go for in-depth year. Now, order by in-depth year will now mean that the country which got the first independence, the independence for the first, I mean, all the 1900 years are there. Out of these 1900 years, the country which have gone independence the first, okay, the earliest will be reflected the first, and then the country who got the independence just recently or most recently will be reflected the last over here. Let me run this code. Now, once I run this code, we can see that there is a country called as Australia who got their independence in 1901, followed by Cuba, followed by Panama, followed by Norway, followed by Iran. Interesting data, right? I think we'll see 1947 mein India somewhere over here. Both India and Pakistan got their independence in 1947. Okay, you want to go for descending? You can put in descending over here. अब यहां पर आपको सबसे पहला लेटेस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस किसको मिला है वो चीज आपको यहां दिख रही है. वी कैन सी पलाव इज अ कंट्री which is having the latest independence. Czech Republic is the next one. Then we have Artica, we have Slovakia, oh, Bosnia and Herzegovina. My goodness. Then we have Armenia, a lot of Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia. ये सब 1990s में independent हुए हैं, which is not a bad data to know at all, isn't it? Right? अब ये हो गया भाई. This is basically ordering. So we are just seeing sorting the data over here. Right? Sorting में हम फिर से आएंगे. I think we'll come back to sorting again. But I think we'll have to first finish off this thing. फिल्टरिंग दी डेटा. आई थिंक सबसे बड़ा काम हम यहां पर क्या कर रहे थे, फिल्टरिंग डेटा. और हमने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले देखा कि फिल्टर करते वक्त अर्थमेटिक ऑपरेशन कैन ऑल्सो बी अप्लाइड ऑन टेक्सचुअल एंड न्यूमेरिक डेटा बोथ. अब मान लीजिए मेरे पास कुछ आता है. लेट मी गो फॉर केस ओवर हियर. ओके, आई विल गो फॉर केस दैट which Asian countries have uh, have GNP greater than a certain number, which have or life expectancy more than, let's say, 60. So ये बोल रहा है कौन कौन सी एशियन कंट्रीज हैं जिसमें लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी 60 से ज्यादा है. दिस इज व्हाट इज आस्क्ड टू मी. समबडी आस्क्ड मी कि बताइए जरा आपके डेटा में से फटाफट निकाल के कि कौन कौन से ऐसे कंट्रीज हैं, which are the countries which are, you know, in which Asian countries are there which have life expectancy more than 60. 60 से ज्यादा क्या है मेरी लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी है यार. So I'll have to apply two filters. एक तो मेरे को कॉन्टिनेंट क्या करना पड़ेगा, एशिया करना पड़ेगा. एंड दूसरा आई नीड टू एंश्योर दैट लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी 60 से ज्यादा हो. लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी मेरी किससे ज्यादा हो, 60 से ज्यादा हो. कैसे लगा सकता हूं ये? राइट, लेट मी गो फॉर सेलेक्टेड कॉलम्स दिस टाइम. आई विल गो फॉर सेलेक्ट country name, then I'll go for continent, then I'll go for in-depth year, we go for population. Right, that's it. I think GNP डालना है तो GNP भी डाल लीजिए if you want. Right, GNP and so on like this. I think we can put in GNP over here as well. Right, I'll go for populations P to be capital over here. That way I think it's slightly better. Right, country name, continent, in-depth year, population, GNP from the table name country, and now I'll start applying the filter, which is where continent is equal to Asia. Now I have to apply another condition over here. And if I go for दोनों कंडीशन लगानी है ना, which Asian countries have life expectancy greater than 60. So I have to first apply the condition of Asia, and then I'll use another relational operators. This is the exact relational operators, which is and the next is the अगला क्या था, life expectancy has to be greater than 60. So I'll go for life expectancy has to be greater than 60. Now, here with where clause, what I've done is I've applied more than two conditions over here. Right. So now I can see country name, continent. Continent is now you can see all the continents that we have discussed over here, or that we can see in this data is Asian. Independence year 1971, 1991, 1971, 84. Minus 1523 is very, very interesting. Minus 1523, which means that it was there in 1523 BC. Okay, it appears to be that way only. Possibility. Okay. Now, then comes population, then comes GNP. But यहाँ पर ये clear है कि these are all the cases with, in fact, GNP की जगह पर I'll write life expectancy. ना, ultimately I'm applying filter on that only. Right, life expectancy. Now, if I look at life expectancy, this is the case over here. Right. Now, of all the Asian countries, can you just tell me which are the top 4 or 5 top 4 or 5 countries with highest life expectancy? I'll say that okay, कोई बात नहीं भाई, order कर देते हैं data को. Let's go for order by. I'll go for order by that column with which you want to order it. Expectancy. ऑर्डर बाय लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी. मतलब पूरे कोड को समझिए ना, ये बड़ा सा कोड देखकर बहुत सारे लोग सोचते हैं कि इट्स अ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड थिंग, व्हेन इट इज नॉट. जब ये इतना बस बड़ा है कोड और कुछ नहीं है, इजंट इट? आई एम सेइंग दैट सेलेक्ट दीज कॉलम्स व्हिच आर नथिंग बट द नेम्स ऑफ द कॉलम्स फ्रॉम द टेबल कंट्री, है ना? दिस इज द लॉजिक. इस टेबल से ये कॉलम उठाइए सारे के सारे, जहां जहां पर continent as a column is equal to Asia and life expectancy as a column is greater than 60. And once you एक बार आपने उठा के रख लिया तो उसको ऑर्डर भी कर दो. किसके हिसाब से कर दो ऑर्डर? लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी के हिसाब से. एंड प्रॉब्ली आई गो फॉर डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर ओवर. सो उल्टे ऑर्डर में लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी के हिसाब से दिखा दीजिए. क्या करेगा बेचारा वो? ये सारे पांचों कॉलम ले लिए उसने इस पर्टिकुलर टेबल से, ये फिल्टर लगाया फटाफट, और लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी के हिसाब से जो फिल्टर डेटा आया उसको डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर में डाल दी. सिंपल इज दैट. Once I run this, we can just see that which are the Asian countries who got independence. Okay, who got independence. Sorry, I'm not looking at independence. Or actually I am. Yeah, I'm looking at independence here, but my filtering parameter is continent, Asian countries, and life expectancy has to be greater than 60. 60 से ज्यादा है, और उसमें मुझे दिख रहा है Macau is the country with the highest life expectancy, followed by Japan, followed by Singapore, followed by Hong Kong, followed by Israel, Jordan, Cyprus. इंडिया का नाम तो बहुत पीछे है भाई. Kuwait, South Korea, United Arab Emirates, and then we have something like this. I think India should come somewhere, right? ठीक है, इंडिया कहाँ है ये पता करना है तो आप यहां पर एक और चीज कर दीजिए, ऑर्डर बाय दिस. एंड ऑर्डर बाय लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी नहीं करते हैं, ऑर्डर बाय मैं बोल देता हूं कंट्री नेम. इफ आई गो फॉर ऑर्डर बाय कंट्री नेम, वो अल्फाबेटिकली डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर में डाल देगा उसको. फाइंड आउट आई, हियर इट इज आई. लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी व्हेन दिस डेटा वाज कलेक्टेड, इंडियन लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी वाज 62.5. या that's the point. Now, okay, was there a comment? Anything? No, nothing. Right. Cool. So this is how ordering and filtering is done. और यहां पर मैंने एक ही रिलेशनल ऑपरेटर यूज करा है, एंड दैट इज एंड. लेट मी गो फॉर अनदर वन विच इज और. लेट्स गो फॉर दिस थिंग. नाउ if I go for another simple use case, that is which countries are either North American or having population more than, let's say, 100,000. 100,000 तो बहुत कम है यार. 10 million तो कर ही देते हैं. So I think we'll go for 10,000 lakh, 10 lakh मतलब 1 million and this. So population greater than, I'll go for 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 million. So I'll go for which countries are either North American or having population more than 10 million. अब यहाँ मुझे क्या करना है, दो चीजें लगानी है. And दोनों filter now are not linked with and. And is applicable when both the conditions, I'll just write it. And is applicable, I'll just delete all this stuff. And is applicable when both conditions must be true. Both conditions must be true. दोनों कंडीशन क्या होनी चाहिए, एक साथ, obviously simultaneously. That is, दोनों कंडीशन एक साथ सही होनी चाहिए. Here once I go for or, if I look at or over here, if I go for or is nothing but when any, or I should say at least one of the given conditions is true. तो बेसिकली कम से कम एक आदि को एक कंडीशन सही होनी चाहिए. यहां पर जितनी भी आपने कंडीशंस दी हुई हैं, अगर आपने दो कंडीशंस कनेक्ट करी हुई है, so both the conditions must be true. If it is more than two conditions that you have connected, all the conditions have to be true. Now it will filter out only that data where all the conditions are true in case of and. Whereas in case of or, it's going to filter out all the data in which at least any one of the conditions are true. Okay, so let's see how. Let's see how it is. Simple as that. I'll go for the same thing. This time I'll select the entire data, or probably I'll go for a different select star from city. Let me go for a different table. बार बार एक ही table लेंगे थोड़ा बोर हो जाएंगे. Let me go to the city table. That was countries table. This is city table. Can I say this? Yeah. Now I'll say that select star from city where I wanted. अच्छा, ये ऊपर वैसे मैंने कंट्रीज के हिसाब से लिया हुआ है ना, तो आई जस्ट टेक द कंट्री ओवर हियर वन लास्ट टाइम गाइस, सॉरी. राइट, सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम कंट्री. दिस इज कंट्री. नाउ कोड को मैं रन नहीं करता हूं, या मैं क्लोज नहीं करता हूं, मैं नीचे आता हूं, मैं एक वेयर क्लॉज देता हूं. द वेयर क्लॉज सेज दैट द कंटिनेंट इज इक्वल टू ईदर, कंटिनेंट हैज टू बी इक्वल टू नॉर्थ अमेरिका. Right, continent is North America, or where continent is equal to North America, or population, let me keep the capital P over here, or the population is greater than 10 million. I think it's right. This is 1,000 million, 10 million. Fair enough. Right now, once I apply this filter, I'll end up selecting only those countries which are in North America and have population greater than 10 million. Once I enter this, now I'm looking at those 110 countries. There are 110 countries which are either from North America or population greater than 10 million. Now, guys, for the sake of a decent, healthy discussion, now if I just take this down and if I change or to what? And I'll change or to and, or को मैं क्या करता हूं, and में बदल देता हूं. Okay, now will this reflect the same data? Obviously not. As you can see, there are only five such countries which are in North America and also having population greater than 10 million. These are the five: Canada, Cuba, Guatemala, Mexico, and United States. Sorry, I'm third one. Ke liye I don't know what is the pronunciation. So it'll be United States and Mexico. These are the five countries only. Whereas if I go for or, conditions वही है. If you can please pay attention, the conditions are absolutely same. The continent is equal to North America and the population is greater than 10 million. The conditions are same. It's just that the relational operator, the connector that I'm using, at times it is and in the other case it is equal to or. Now, and के case में we have just run this code, found that there are five such countries, given their names and the details over here. Now, once I run this one, I can see that here the countries where North America, either they belong to North American continent or the population is greater than 10 million. Any one of the two conditions. So pictorially, I'll say that if I just put both of them on screen only, or says I'm looking at the union of the two set. I'm looking at the union of the two set. That is, all the elements which belong to this. This is all union over here. And the union looks something like this. Something like a misplaced potato. And a misfigured potato, disfigured potato, whatever it is. This is the union. So, or means either North America se ho, कंटिनेंट इधर नॉर्थ अमेरिका कंटिनेंट से हो कंट्री या पॉपुलेशन 10 मिलियन से क्या है ज्यादा इन केस ऑफ एंड इट्स समथिंग लाइक दिस एंड दिस right now I can see that it looks something like this, right? This is the intersection over here. So I can see if I just draw the dotted to complete the circle, the dotted lines. Right. So I'm looking at and means the common data. That means the data in which this is happening and this is also happening. Or means either this is happening or this is happening. Right. So please do not get confused over there. If there are multiple conditions, you need to see whether they're connected with and or are they connected with or. All right. Right. So this is how we cover things up over here. Right. So I think this is relational operators. And now we've seen and or. And हमने mathematical operator में भी देख लिया that how can we use these conditions to filter out data or filter in the data. Right. So this is, yes, this is the case over here. Let's see. I'll just see the comments. Are there any comments? There's no comments over here right now. All right, guys. All right. So हम अभी देख रहे हैं. We have seen the filtering of data over here. I think the next thing that we are going to discuss will be in operator, between operator, in between. राइट आई थिंक एक चीज और छूट गई है, ऊपर ही डिस्कस कर लेनी चाहिए थी, विच इज लिमिट एंड ऑफसेट फंक्शंस. लिमिट एंड ऑफसेट फंक्शंस, ये दो चीजें हमारी ऊपर ही छूट गई थी, बट आई हैव बहुत इजी, इट्स वेरी इजी. आई थिंक विल कवर इट अप इजीली. ओके, नाउ वी गो फॉर इन ऑपरेटर, बिटवीन ऑपरेटर. कहीं कहीं पर ये बहुत ही स्पेसिफिकली यूज होता है, इतना स्पेसिफिकली यूज होता है कि इसके बिना काम नहीं होगा. सेम केस फॉर limit and offset functions. Right, so today we have seen filtering of data using arithmetic operators and then finally combining arithmetic operators or other non-arithmetic operators using and or. And and or are the relational cases over here, relational operators. So I think this is where we can probably pause the discussion today, guys. Tomorrow, once we meet, we'll move on to in operator, in between operator, limit and offset function, and I think we'll proceed further more towards group by. Group by की तरफ बढ़ेंगे हम थोड़ा सा. I think we'll see what group by does. After all, I'm looking at any data to ultimately aggregate it and find out a summary out of it, isn't it? So that's how this is where group by helps us in a lot over here. All right, guys. So I think, yes, this is where I would like to take your leave. I'll be there in the session for another minute or so. So if you come across any doubt, please feel free to put it up over here in the chat box, and I'll try with the best of my abilities to answer that question. And if you're not, perhaps in the next 1 minute, around 12 2, we will close the session. All right. So I hope you guys benefited from what we discussed today. We will come back to where operator and other all these operators like order by will come back to, because ordering again can be done with multiple columns over here. We'll see that soon. Okay, in the upcoming sessions we'll see that as well. So there's a bit higher level of ordering, higher level of this thing, arithmetic or usage of arithmetic operators. All of them are left to be discussed, but once we build our foundation and basic, we'll move on to them. Okay. Right, so let me stay here for another 5 seconds. Let me see, is there any doubt? Okay, union and intersection. If you have any doubt in union and intersection, great. So I think union and intersection is nothing but and or. Nice that you asked it. I think I just minimized it. So union and intersection is nothing but something like this. If I look at or over here, or means either this should happen or this should happen. So if I, which means that these are all the rows which are satisfying the first condition, and these are all the rows which are satisfying the second condition. The intersection of the two circle means that there might be some rows which are satisfying both the condition. Now when I use or, I'm looking at all those rows which are satisfying either the first one, either the first condition is satisfied or the second condition is satisfied. So I'm looking at something called as a union like this. Okay, I'm sorry, I haven't drawn the chart that well, but you understand. What I've seen is a union over here. I'm looking forward to a union of these set. So can I say this set belongs to all those elements which belong to either this or this? That is, these are all the rows which have continent either North America or population greater than 10 million. Now they might have continent greater than they might have continent North America and population greater than 10 million. That is, दोनों condition satisfy कर सकता है वो, बट कम से कम एक तो कर ही रहा है, राइट? कम से कम एक कंडीशन तो सेटिस्फाई कर रहा है, और कम से कम एक कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई करने का मतलब है एग्जैक्टली वन प्लस एग्जैक्टली और ऑल द कंडीशन सेटिस्फाइड. So this is the case of union. So or talks about union over here. Whereas if I look at and, it says these are all the rows which have North America as continent. These are all the rows which have greater than 10 million as a continent. These are all the rows which are doing both. Can I say this? Because this region lies in both these circles, which means that this is the region which we can talk about something like this. And this is the region we are talking about is having, if I magnify this, having continent is North America and population as 10 billion. This is the circle for the continent, and this is the circle for population. I hope we are clear with intersection and union. Intersection means both, union means either. Simple as that. Right, Pradyumna? I hope it is clear to you. Yeah. Right, guys. And I think it's time for us to probably stop the discussion over here. Excellent. Great. Brilliant. Now, cool. I think this is where we can stop the session. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot. Tomorrow we move on to this thing. Tomorrow we move on to in operator, between operators, limit and offset function. For example, in operator कहां पर काम आता है? जब बहुत सारी conditions एक साथ join करनी हो. बार बार हर condition थोड़ी लिखूंगा. For example, if I had to join 4 conditions from the same column, in that case, I need not to write this repeatedly over here, right? Between operator again does the same thing. Limit and offset functions are different over here. Once we are done with this, we'll move on to further codes over there that we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. All right, guys, then allow me to stop the session over here. We can stop the session here and see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, I hope I've added some value. If you like the content, if you like what we are discussing on the channel, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel so that we can have better reach to better people. Right? Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And I'll be ending the stream now. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.